Hi, this is Craig and welcome to another episode of Cruising Off Duty. This is going to be another Mavic tutorial, specifically about the Litchi App. A lot of people talk about it, whether they should buy it. It's an aftermarket third-party app that's meant for you to fly your DJI product, whether it's a Mavic, whether it's one of the Phantom series, or the Aspire. The app works with any of them. I have a Mavic Pro, so I can only say it's super glitchy with the Mavic Pro. And I think in Canadian dollars, I paid about $40 for this. So I wanted to get this episode out as quickly as possible so that anybody who's thinking of dropping some hard-earned cash down to get this app might want to think twice. At least with the Mavic Pro, it is super glitchy. You'll see that in the episode that's coming up. There's going to be more stuff coming out soon after that. I found a sort of a workaround for some of these glitches. Some of the glitches are it won't stay in focus. You set speeds to go from waypoints, from one waypoint to another. It'll just all of a sudden decide to slow to a crawl when you told it to go 22 miles per hour. And the next waypoint, it's all of a sudden doing 13 miles per hour. The next one is doing 8. It just seemed like it's just randomly picking speeds between waypoints, which is not good, definitely a glitch. But the more important one was the focus. It won't stay in focus. Once you take off, you can't control it. You hit C1 center focus, it goes in focus, then falls back out of focus. Definitely some serious glitches. If I hadn't already bought it and I'd seen this video, I wouldn't buy it, at least until they figure out all these glitches that they have. So stay tuned for that episode. And like I say, subscribe if you haven't already, because I've got a lot of new Mavic stuff in the works that I've either started working on and I just need to get it edited, or I know I have a bunch of new products coming. I've got ND filters coming. I've got a lift kit that I already have that I put on my Mavic and I'm trying it now. I'm gonna have waterproof case coming. I've got a bunch of other kit coming in the next week. So I'll be making a bunch of new Mavic Pro videos, and if you subscribe, you'll make sure you don't miss any of them. So stay tuned to this episode and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Well, as you can see, it's not a beautiful day out there. It's been a dusting of snow so far, and from time to time I see the winds really whipping up. But tomorrow is going to be snowing like crazy. So today's my only day, and the day after that, I'm working. So tomorrow I'm off, but it's gonna snow every hour supposedly. So today is my only day to go out flying the Mavic for you guys, and I really wanna show you this Litchi app. The thing about the Litchi app is you don't need to fly your waypoints to record them. So unlike the last episode where you had waypoints, this one I've pre-saved, one called Canadian Tire Center, and what happens is you load it and there it is, and I'll zoom in a bit. So what you do is you have like a satellite overview, like a Google Maps or Google Satellite or whatever you call it, Google Earth. So you pick where you want to fly, and in this case I'm flying loops around the Canadian Tire Center. So what I've done, I don't know if I can really zoom out far enough to get it to be obvious. So what I do is I start with point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, all the way around, and then I go out way to the far side of the parking lot and back in again. And so what I'm saying is, instead of flying this and recording it, with the Litchi app, you just tell it by the satellite thing where you want it to be, and at each one of these points you pick a height. And just to be interesting, I keep raising and lowering the height. So you'll have heights of as low as 98 feet up to heights of 298 feet. And so what I do is I'm going around the Canadian Tire Center, which should be a vacant parking lot, and I'm flying no lower than 98 feet and no higher than 298 feet. So well within the Canadian guidelines for all you people who like to tell me what the Canadian guidelines are all the time. That's good, and it should be an empty parking lot, so there should be no people, so I should get no complaints. Since it flies on its own, you just need to keep your eye on it. So instead of me standing outside with my iPhone freezing and having my battery on my iPhone freezing, I'm thinking I'll be able to park facing the parking lot with my car and watch it fly around the parking lot from the warmth of my car, which should allow my iPhone to last more than 10 minutes. All right, let's see how it goes. Look at the wind whipping across the road. This is going to be a windy Mavic flight for sure. We're gonna try, although it's pretty damn windy outside, I'm gonna try and use the Litchi app to go around the Canadian Tire Center. I'm now sitting in my nice warm car facing the Canadian Tire Center in their big empty parking lot. And it is freaking cold out there. It's minus 12, but it feels way colder than that. the wind is pretty high, pretty gusty. When I went on Wind Guru, it said it's gusting up to 23 knots, which is 23 miles per hour. In a big open field with a big open parking lot, it tends to make the wind feel a lot stronger than it does at my house where we're in a subdivision. So I'm gonna try this. We're just take up the Mavic and have Litchi fly it around and see how it goes. Let's see. Start mission. Do you want to start mission now? Okay. Loading mission. There goes the Mavic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to center focus. It's going up to 120 feet. It's flying to the waypoint. Ooh, the wind is buffeting it. I can see the Mavic, although you probably can't see it on this camera, over there. It's slowly circling the Canadian Tire Center. It looks a little out of focus though on the thing. I'll keep center focusing it, but it doesn't seem like it stays in focus. Until I hit the center focus, but then it goes right back out of focus. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Check it out. Canadian Tire Center looks a little fuzzy. Click center focus. It gets focused and then it goes right back fuzzy again. Yeah, not sure what is going on, but it just doesn't seem like it's crispy. Not sure if there's anything I can do. Sharpness. It's on standard sharpness. That shouldn't really do anything.
Mission ended.
So now it's auto. So we gotta figure out why it's not in focus, but so far it flew the route perfectly. And now it's supposed to go return home. So I'm gonna let this sit here. I'm gonna go outside and make sure it's landing where I think it's supposed to be landing. Oh, there's the Mavic, and it is coming down right where it should. Right where I took off from, right in front of my car. So it's windy as hell out here. Mavic did a good job of flying the route, but I don't know what's going on with the camera being out of focus. Okay, go into start up the Mavic again.
Recording started.
Just auto records when you fly it. So let's see what happens if I fly manually. So I've told it to focus on the Canadian Tire Center. Oh, see, low battery on my iPhone already. So even though I'm not in super cold condition, I'm going to put center focus and just see what happens. Funny thing is, this looks way crisper whether I'm center focus like this, or I tap to focus out there, tap to focus out there, or tap to focus down here. I'm going to focus on those windows. Center focus. Okay, so what did I learn from that? Well, can't say that I'm happy. Seems like when I use the Litchi app, the camera wouldn't stay in focus. I'd hit center focus, it would get crispy for about a second, and then it would go out of focus again. And I'd kept hitting center focus every time I stopped focusing on something, and it would get in focus and then lose focus. Now I was going to switch over with another battery because I brought 3 batteries. I was going to switch over to another battery on the Mavic and fly with the DJI Go app right now since I'm out here, and see if there's a problem with the camera focusing in the DJI Go app or if it's just Litchi. But unfortunately, this stupid iPhone, when I first plugged it in, because it was giving me the under 10% warning thing, I plugged it into my car now, but it was at 8%. And I was sitting in my warm car, so I can't even say it's based on super coldness. It must just be that when you're running the Mavic with your phone, it just doesn't like staying charged. I started, I think, with 77% battery, so I wasn't 100% full, but went down to 8 pretty quickly. I mean, I guess I flew for at least 10 or 15 minutes, but that's not a positive thing to have your phone die that quickly. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to buy one of those aftermarket contraptions you put on your Mavic controller so you can hold a bigger tablet, because the Android 10-inch tablet I have not only seems to not die because it's getting a wee bit of juice from the controller, but it also seemed to have a perfect feed, unlike the 7-inch Android tablet that has a glitchy feed. But I had almost put up with the glitchy feed, you know, the video being a little glitchy on the Android, knowing that the Mavic's actually filming just fine, as long as it could last. This is ridiculous that I don't even get through one battery and my iPhone's telling me it's dying constantly. So I know a lot of you are going to say, you know, you must have a defective iPhone 6, but I've seen a lot of comments saying other people have the same issue. Also, my iPhone seems to last perfectly fine when I'm not connected to my Mavic or out in the cold. Now, I know even if I'm not connected to my Mavic, if I'm out in the cold and I leave it in a pocket where it's not getting body heat, it dies as well. So there is an issue with the cold, but I thought since I was sitting in my nice warm car, this iPhone would last a couple of batteries at least. But so far, every time I've flown it since I got it in November, the iPhone has died by the time the first battery is finished. And I have 3 batteries, so I need to figure out another solution. So that's it for now. I wish it was all positive. I got a funny feeling I'm going to see the footage when I get home and find out that all the Litchi app footage is out of focus. When I flew the second time just manually flying, it seemed to be better on staying in focus. So I don't know if it was only an issue when it's following pre-assigned waypoints. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, click like. I know it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, and probably you're also disappointed with the footage being a little out of focus, but we both learned something today. The Litchi app in principle works great, followed a circuit, and it's a windy day, and the Mavic had no problem flying in the wind. I never got a wind warning, but the camera was out of focus for sure. So yeah. So anyways, put your comments down below if you have a fix for this. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'd like to thank the patrons that are on patreon.com with my channel for supporting and helping me make these videos. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.